So, hello, my name is Bobby Jury, and this is my final presentation for my final project for ITEC 6200 Digital Forensics. So for my first slide, I'll go over the foundation of digital forensics, and I can start off by saying that digital forensics can simply be defined as the retrieval and analyzation of any use of digital evidence. And you can say that digital forensics ain't really just limited to computers. It just has anything to do with medium that is data retrieved from a digital device. And the purpose of digital forensics is to ensure that the data that has been retrieved is in its original state. And the importance of that is the more original form it's in, the easier it is for those investigators to link that evidence back to where the crime was committed. And so basically speaking, that anybody that had anything to do with that evidence or came in contact with the evidence is basically a suspect to the investigation. And you can see over time, digital forensics has been proven to be a major asset in solving crimes. Now that we have talked about where digital forensics started and its importance and how it came to be, I will go into the types of digital forensics. And like I mentioned in the first slide, digital forensic isn't just limited to computers, but other things in the realm of digitally. So the first is, and these are all that I've retrieved from the book. And the first is computer forensics. That's the basics, computers and storage devices, evidence retrieved from the realms of that. Next is network forensics. It's any sort of data that has been retrieved in the network, like the traffic that's been occurring back and forth between like the computers and the devices on that network. Next one is mobile forensics. That's any sort of data that's been retrieved from your mobile devices, phones, etc., things on that nature. And then photographic forensics. That's just the data that's able to be retrieved from the photo images. And then next is Mac forensics. Like sometimes investigators have a hard time retrieving data from the specific devices, specifically Mac or iOS devices. So they will need the help of a Mac computer to be able to analyze that data. And then next is IoT forensics. IoT standing for Internet of Things. It's anything that's internet enabled or smart devices. So for example, I would say my Apple Watch or my AirPods, anything along the lines of that. Now, building off of the basis of digital forensics, now if you're interested in being someone that wants to get involved in digital forensics, I would say that a person that works as a computer and forensic investigator, they should have skills in these areas that I have listed. So computer science, criminal justice law, mathematics, writing, forensic science, and linguistics. And these are all very good skills to have if you intend on having a job in this field or area. And these skills can be achieved just from taking part in like training like in that area, or participating in degrees or programs at like a university or college, or just taking part in certification courses that teach you anything to do along the lines of that. So if you're interested in taking part with anything in digital forensics, there's definitely a lot of jobs and opportunities that all offer it, and there's also a lot of resources that will allow you to do so. Now, building off of being a digital forensics investigator, you also have a bunch of software tools that will come in handy and being an asset during those cases. The first one being N-Case Endpoint Investigator. This is a digital forensics tool that is used to acquire data that is able to be analyzed. The importance of this tool is that it will ensure that the data you have acquired will ensure the integrity of it. So make sure that the data that you're reporting you can trust it. And RSA Net Witness is similar to that. And then moving on to Magnet Axiom. This is another digital forensics tool, but this one will allow you to recover evidence from multiple sources, and also be a thing that makes the evidence a lot more clear for the investigator to look at during the cases. And then Wireshark. I'm familiar with Wireshark. I've used it for previous courses and on a daily basis for my job. It's a tool that allows you to capture and analyze real-time traffic of your network. So this tool allows investigators to look at the traffic that occurs on your network, and anything that's unusual that's occurring that they suspect, they could use that as evidence, whether it's anything that causes an issue in the network or something that happens and causes the security of the network to become vulnerable to any sort of attackers. And then the next one is Vitality. This is a memory digital forensics tool. It's used to recover evidence from memory dumps, and when I was doing research on it, this thing is very good for RAMs. So yeah, all these tools and according to the book have proven to be huge assets to network forensic investigators. So for the next slide, I'll look into a case study. For the final project, we were given the opportunity of looking at a case study and going over how one of these tools played a key role in the solving of that crime. And the event that I wanted to look over was the BTA killer, the bind, torture, kill serial killer, because after doing some research, you can actually see how much digital forensics played a role in identifying who was responsible for those crimes. So, starting off, Dennis Rader, he was on a rampage of serial killings from January 15th, 1974 until January 1991, so lasting 3 decades. And there was a time where he stopped doing it, and it wasn't until March 2004 when Rader began sending these clues describing the victims that he murdered, and these clues would include items that belonged to those victims that he killed, and he would continuously send these packages, and the police wouldn't be able to link the murders to a suspect. It wasn't until one of his clues that he sent a floppy disk, because at the time the Rader didn't know that a floppy disk was traceable. So basically the police were able to trick him into sending evidence revealing that he was responsible for those killings. But I will go into how a software tool played a role and revealing that he was responsible for those killings on the next slide. So building off on the case study, Rader believed that the floppy disk was untraceable. So with that, the digital forensics experts were able to, with the use of the Encase software tool, the one that I mentioned on the previous slides, they were able to do a metadata analysis with the evidence that was stored on a disk. And the evidence would lead them to the Lutheran Christ Church, a church that Dennis Rader was very involved in. And from there, they were able to retrieve evidence that kind of assisted them in identifying and giving them the ability to arrest Rader, since they had evidence that proved that he was responsible for those series of killings. For my final slide, I just wanted to conclude on the how the benefits of digital forensics. As you can see, digital forensics has been proven to be a huge tool for those investigators for solving crimes, and it's made their jobs a lot easier. And you can definitely see that in my case study over the BTA killer, because the BTA killer wasn't able to be figured out for a long time. They weren't able to figure out who was the suspect and linking them to those killings. It wasn't until he sent in a floppy disk where they would use the software tool that I mentioned in the previous slides to link Dennis Rader to those killings, and that would eventually lead to his conviction, successfully prosecuting that crime. And as time goes by, I feel like digital forensics is only going to continue to evolve, get stronger, and make jobs a lot easier for those working in the field. And the tools are only going to continue to advance, and you can make a case that without digital forensics, some of those crimes would still probably remain unresolved, showing the importance of digital forensics in modern investigation nowadays.